What's up? It's Joey Blush Response, and welcome to the next episode of the Sound and Structure Podcast. Today I'm talking with Insolate and SARA RENAR about their new release Hyperventilation on my label Megastructure. Let's get right into it. Hi!
Hi!
How's everybody doing?
Well, given the circumstances, not that bad.
Yeah, same here. I'm also very good, thank you. Working a lot and just try to keep my mind off this whole horrible situation.
It's a bit frustrating, huh? I'm starting to get serious cabin fever. Like I would like to be somewhere other than this room. I don't even have a bed.
Yeah, same here. I think I even don't know how to communicate even with real people anymore, only via Zoom and that's it.
Yeah.
I've been to this interview yesterday at a radio station, and I found myself dressing up like I was going out to, partying to an event. It totally is over the top exaggerating it because wow, something's happening, I'm going out. So yeah.
Yeah,
oh my
I'm
God.
The same. I actually put a perfume now.
Oh wow.
For this Zoom call.
Oh, it smells great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I remember I got dressed up like a week ago for the doctor's office, and I was so excited to go to the doctor's office, because there's something to do,
I think we're a little bit gone crazy.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy, I have a crazy new record from you guys on my label,
Amazing.
Megastructure. So tell me about this. How did you guys meet?
Actually, if I can start, I think the story started from my knowing of SARA because she's a very well-known singer in Croatia. And I really loved her work. So I didn't thought about any kind of project till I didn't heard her at one festival here in my hometown. And actually, she was singing there. And we were having a next stage near hers. And we were preparing stage for the party. And she was already singing because the concerts start earlier than the party. And I heard this girl singing, and she was actually just jamming. She was not singing her normal repertoire. And I told to Volster, oh my God, this girl sounds amazing. It would be crazy to make something with her, and maybe even to call her to our Traum parties and make something interesting from all of this. And after some time passed, after, 1 year or something like that, I started to prepare my album. And I wanted to have a female singer on it. And then I immediately remember about SARA. And actually, that is where our story started.
That's really cool. So it was an open air festival?
Yeah, it was in Osijek in Sunčica's hometown, right? An open air festival, yeah. And it was kind of crazy because it was a bunch of bands that were not necessarily connected to electronic music only. So was performing at the after party. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that's true.
And I remember that the audience was maybe more hip hop oriented. I mean, I was really happy with my performance, but you don't always get the feedback of the crowd necessarily the way you expect. So I was really thrilled when, after that, somebody like Sunčica, called me and said that she would like to collaborate. That was really a big honor.
How did you get in touch?
I think she emailed me. I don't remember.
Yes.
I mean, we started collaborating actually virtually at the beginning. We were sending each other's tracks back and forth, and looking back on it now, it seems like as we were anticipating the times that are here now.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I think actually I contact you via email, that's for sure. But then we met one time also in Zagreb.
Yes, in Zagreb, and then I came to your studio in Osijek.
Yes. Yes, and then she
And
came here, and we just jammed for whole weekend, making my neighbors crazy. Had some bottles of wine, and
yes, exactly.
made some really, really good stuff. Actually, this stuff that we released for your label is one of the vocals that we actually made here.
Cool.
And then after that, I was arranging beats and everything else.
So tell me the process. Like, you guys jammed together. How did the jam look like?
Yeah, actually, do you want Sarah to say?
Oh, I mean, so basically when I perform with my own equipment, which I unfortunately don't have everything in my room now, but anyway, so I have this guitar connected with keyboards, loop station, sample pads, and everything, right? And so I came to Sunchi's studio with my car and the trunk full of shit, and Sunchi said, just looked at me, no, you don't need all of that. I'll be doing that. So it was basically me with my vocal processor and looper, and it was. So I'm just saying this from my point of view. Sunchi said is much more tech savvy for all the listeners who want to hear the producing part. We'll get to that. And so I was kind of liberated because I was really just singing, jamming, and exploring various vocal effects on tracks that Sunchica had either produced or was making on the spot. It was really, really fun. Yeah.
That's cool. What vocal processor and looper do you use?
I use the TC Helicon Voice Live Touch 2. And now recently I'm also using the Boss RC505, right? So I'm kind of switching between those two.
Oh, those are really cool ones. I know a lot of techno people use the RC505.
Yeah. The RC505 is really more, it's kind of more electronic music oriented, definitely. And the TC Helicon is kind of more intuitively to use if you're performing the setup with bands or something. But I connect them together with MIDI cables and then try to make the most of both. So.
Awesome. So I've noticed on the record that your vocal, Sarah, is like, it's very instrumental. It's not like, except on What Do You Believe? It's not really direct statements. It's more like a texture and effect. And I really think that's interesting. How did you guys come together on that idea and process that and, get that going?
Well, actually, I really loved when we started to jam. I was just playing around with maybe some beats or even more with textures, pads, and that kind of stuff, some sounds. And Sarah was just singing along on that. And first, she, of course, started to sing as a singer. She was maybe over-singing for the techno style. But I think after 30 or 40 minutes of jamming, she was just into that. So she was totally, she had a techno soul in herself. I always said that because she just get right into it and started to jam like it should be in the process of the sound and the texture and everything. So it was really, really interesting. After that, I was also cleaning a bit all vocals and maybe making some loops and interesting arrangements that could fit to the sound that we actually agreed to make.
What did you arrange the tracks in?
We were recording everything in Ableton and also arranging everything here. I was using a lot of electron stuff that I have in my studio. Also some external reverbs and that kind of stuff. Like I really love electron stuff, so I'm using a lot of from Rhythm, Analog 4. Also bought Octatrack for our live act that we are preparing to hopefully see the day till the end of the year.
Well, I'll be ready for it in 10 years. I'll be there.
Yeah, I hope sooner. Don't say that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please, come on. I'm living for these live performances.
Yeah.
So, Sunchitsa, when you're making a track, my question to you is, do you do it like piece by piece, like first the drums, then another layer, or do you sort of do it in a live approach? How do you do this? Or is it different every time?
Yeah, actually, yes. So it really depends. If I have idea what point I want to make with this track, for example, if I want to make some really groove by bass and kick, then I actually start with that and then build everything on top of that. With the SARA, it was actually a little bit different because we were jamming all the time and I had like tons of materials that I need to go through and then see what I think that is interesting to fit into idea what we had to make. So totally two different approaches. For me, it was also very interesting to work with the vocals as it was one of my first times to do that, and how to process them and so on. So it's always different. Sometimes I have some melody in my head and I make a really, really nice lead sound and start from there. But I can say basically in my production, I start with a kick bass. And then if I have a steady, really nice texture and kick and bass flow, then I can go more from it.
And what are Sarah's vocals sound really cool. What are some of the effects you used on them?
Yeah, I used a lot of different kind of reverbs. Also, I was playing a little bit with the Isotope Trash because in that time I got it and I was just going through the project just before our interview because I already, of course, forgot what I was using, in that time. And I saw that I had so many Isotope Trash inside of each and every channel. And that's why I think we got this very specific sound because I didn't use too many different kind of effects. I was using more or less similar stuff on for all processing. So so a lot of reverb, a lot of Valhalla reverbs, and also I have Eventide Space here, so we were also playing with that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I love Isotope Trash. I use it all the time as well. It's super versatile.
It's so trashy.
Right?
Yes. You can get the right sound with it.
So, taking it back a bit, when did you both first discover music and then also that you wanted to make music? And what led you to that path?
Oh, I think we can start with Sunchitsa, this one here.
Okay.
Why?
Because you're a legend.
Because I'm older.
No. Because you are internationally established.
Okay. Then okay. So yeah, my story starts a really long time ago. I'm DJing from 97, but a few years earlier, I started to attend then rave parties. I think it was already end of 94, 95. I went to my first party. I was super, super young and I could stay only up till 10 o'clock on the parties. I had luck because then parties started pretty early. So already from 6, so I can attend for whole 4 hours listening the warm-up DJ, and for me it was actually the best time of my life then. After that,
it's not now.
Sorry,
it's not now. The best time of your life?
Yeah, of course. But then I felt so lucky, that I can stay till 10 o'clock and attend something different, because I never heard something like that before. And actually, none of my friends were not attending that kind of stuff because they were only kids. And how I get into the electronic music is by my friend's brother. He was actually DJ, and two of us stole one of his cassettes back then, and listening to some jungle stuff that he was making, and we really love it. So we were two boring kids that were actually dragging him by hand. Take us please to the party, we will be good, 14-year-old girls. And he was so nice actually to take us one time, and that's how it all started. Yeah, then I started to be in contact more and more with all these people who are included in music. And in '97, actually, I play my two records together, and this is when everything started for me.
So you've been producing since '97?
No, I'm DJing from '97, and then 10 years after I started to produce.
Okay, so 2007.
Yes.
Cool. And how about you, Sarah?
So I played the violin when I was a little kid, and I went to elementary music school. But I didn't. After that, I switched to basically self-taught myself guitar throughout my teenage years and started singing. I kind of always knew. I always knew that music would be a big part of my life, but I didn't really know that it was going to happen professionally. I enrolled into the university and studied architecture. So I have a master's degree in architecture, and which was pretty intense at the time to try to balance both. And I was somewhere near finishing my studies when. Or just finished my studies when my first album got out in 2013. And then by the time my second EP got out in 2014, I started getting some awards, and things basically exploded here in Croatia, and kind of started more drifting into experimenting with music and doing some conceptual art and so on, which basically led to me quitting my job in 2015. And since then, I'm like full-time professionally into music, doing my own singer-songwriter, which is not your classical singer-songwriter project. Maybe think more of Bon Iver, maybe in the recent albums, and plus conceptual work with theater, kind of multimedia performances, artistic residencies, and this project with Sunčica as well, right?
That's awesome. Congrats on quitting your job in 2015. That's the most liberating thing.
Yeah, that was, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, this sounds, I'm the only person in Croatia complaining that I have to do my regular day job, I guess, because of the corona in the past 2 months. I am back to work from home, but still, yeah.
Doing architecture,
yeah. So,
I mean, it could be worse. That sounds like a pretty cool job.
No, I agree, of course, but I chose something else. I mean, that's why I'm saying I'm living for the live performances, really. So.
She would like to sing instead.
I fully understand. Yeah. Okay, so is there anything you found with architecting songs that works when you're designing buildings, or what sort of architecture do you do?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I have this theory that that designing buildings or construction in general is very, very comparable to directing, either in film or theater, and also in arranging songs, right? It's like these are some disciplines that have things that are very, very in common, in the sense that when I'm doing something, I mean, of course, a lot of the process is very intuitive, but a lot of the process is very intuitive in architecture as well. I mean, or at least it should be. So it's kind of like you try to keep things consistent, and both on the detail and in the bigger picture. And I do this with the music as well. And this is something that I admire Sunčica for doing. It's kind of like you kind of have your signature in a small sample as well as in the bigger picture, and it's always a kind of zoom out, zoom in process. And in this way, I found my training as an architect actually not at all a waste of time. Au contraire, I think it really helped me to arrange some of the work I'm doing. Yeah.
Awesome. So, if you guys were to play this live, which I'm hoping you will, how would you make it happen? What would be the approach?
Hope so. We are planning already that actually, we thought we were going to start it last year, but when everything was shut down in March, it was just impossible for us to actually see each other and start to practice and everything else, because we don't live in the same cities. And after that, of course, life took some another road, so we didn't have time to make it come true. But actually, I wanted to include few of my electron stuff with some external, probably reverbs, and SARA would have her own machines, as she said, and we would also have prepared tracks that we actually release, but we will also thinking about jamming out some of the stuff. Well, I don't know. We will see.
I mean, the thing is, which I'm interested also most in. I mean, it's always easy to do to just have all the tracks and arranged the way they are, but the most interesting part for me is kind of like how to find this delicate balance that we can be able to jam together, right? And still for the whole thing to maintain its like super production sound-wise format. And when we were last jamming, I think we were on a very good trail here. And so I'm really looking forward to this. And also the whole light video accompanying.
Yeah, definitely.
And if nothing, I mean, if all else fails, then we're going to do it virtually, right?
We will make it happen, definitely. Yeah. It will be a little bit different maybe than we jammed in my studio, because I would not use laptop at all. I was thinking about Octatrack, which actually waits for us here to start to work on it. And I think we will include probably Rhythm 4, and then I was thinking maybe also some external experimental machines, maybe as Lyra or something like that. I still didn't thoroughly go through that idea, but I would like to also include some other synths.
That's a really crazy one for live, the Lyra.
Yeah.
It'd be really fun on. I would love to hear that on a big system.
Yeah.
Sarah, so you do a lot of improvised vocals live?
Yeah, I do. And I also, I mean, when I'm doing my own concerts, there is always some kind of basic structure I work around with, but then it gives me I give myself a lot of freedom to just play. I did a lot, and hopefully will do in the future. I did a lot of these multimedia, like I was accompanying poets, but mostly with my electronic setup live on poetry readings, which was really cool. And I also did a project in Berlin at the Akademie der Künste with a Macedonian poet. Yeah, that was last year.
That was very interesting.
Yeah, that was just before the pandemic hit, actually. That was in early February 2020. So she got a scholarship for doing this whole big poem with a motive on the Berlin U-Bahn, right? And I was doing the whole soundtrack, and then we made a out of it, and then we made out of it. It's basically some kind of like electronic radio drama with her text over it, and we did a 20-minute live performance that they could live there. Yeah. It seems like a totally different life now.
Wow, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
But actually, I remember that trip of yours because it ended up right before pandemic hit, or
yes.
Maybe it already started, and you were coming back, and I was like so jealous. She's traveling, like stuck here.
Yeah. I was in Berlin and I went to a party.
And you were also in Bulgaria, right?
Yes. That was like totally in the middle of the pandemic. So I think Eastern Europe is much more relaxed in these times. I won a scholarship in Bulgaria also for doing music for their contemporary poets, and they ended up there for a month as an artist in residence, and then on my way back managed to do a four-day tour in Rus, Veliko Tarnovo, Plovdiv, and Sofia, which also seemed like science fiction, but I kind of made it happen in October and then came back to Zagreb. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Amazing.
So when you're doing music with these poets, what are you doing with them?
Well, it really depends. Sometimes, I mean, if the concept is just me improvising, I did that on various occasions in Zagreb. But then I kind of prefer not to know anything about their work before, and I just kind of try to answer their energy on stage immediately, right? And
call and response.
Call and response, exactly. And it's even more fun if it's a language that I don't understand. So
just vibes.
Yeah, just vibes. And that was really cool. I mean, there was a poet from Turkey, which I mean, I don't understand Turkish, obviously, and I do understand some German, so that was more easy. But yeah, the more exotic the people were, that was great. And then there are these other projects when people ask me to collaborate, and then I kind of try. So everybody has their own artistic universe, right? And I kind of try to find a key how to deliver soundscape-wise the certain poetry that I'm dealing with. And no artist is the same, of course, and it's never the same. And so when I was working with Marija Dejanovic, for example, she's a poet from Croatia, and now she lives in Greece. That was very, very, very experimental, very, very Einstürzende Neubauten in the early years.
Great.
Yeah. When I was doing with this Barbara Delac, when we were doing this project in Berlin, it was more with beats. It was kind of sometimes with some hip hop elements, like more in an urban setting and so on. So it really depends on. In that case, the starting point would be what the flow of their poetry is, right? So, and we're working with Munchitsa, it was, I guess, the other way around. I was the poet in this sense. And the accompanying, and actually working with Munchitsa, I think it was, as you said, it's great to use your voice not as a narrative, but as an instrument. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite elements of the record, just the way that I was listening to it, the first few times, and I was like, is that a voice? Is that a synth? I don't know.
Yeah. Is that a recorded Google Translate? What is that?
But I also think it works since, the record's called Hyperventilation. There's a lot of breathing sounds and other things that just comes together, that it's more like animalistic, it's less direct,
Exactly. And it's really crazy. I mean, it's really crazy how sometimes you, with your work, anticipate things that are about to come. I mean, I guess now I'm happy that the EP is out at the time that it is, because it really kind of, I think it's in a good historically in a good place for it to come out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the right time. So one for Sanchita, what are your top mixing tools in Ableton?
You mean like VSTs that I use, or?
Yeah, like what's your go-to stuff for compression, EQ, etc.
Yeah. Well, now during the masterclass, I started to appreciate super simple VSTs that maybe I usually didn't use, but because I wanted to give to all these people that was actually attending to my classes, I wanted to give them tools that they can maybe afford, that necessary don't need to be super expensive stuff. So actually, I also went through whole Ableton collection and used almost everything from the Ableton. I dig deep into that. Also on their stuff like a drum bass and that kind of stuff. From virtual VSTs, I use a lot of Isotope stuff, as I said. Also, I have some new stuff from Aberrant DSP and some other productions that I actually got to try, like also Ozone and Neutron and stuff like that, for the mastering. So I think during this time I really had time to explore a lot of different things and start to combine them. I can't wait actually to come into studio now and do my own production, because these last few months I was doing most of the teaching and that kind of stuff. But my definitely go-to from not software side, but I really love this Eventide Space reverb. It's really cool. And also I have analog heat. And it's super, super nice if you want to push your sound a bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Eventide stuff just sounds like $1 million no matter what you put through it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful sounding.
Actually, yeah, because I was trying to put it on the SARA voices a lot after we finished our jamming. And I was doing actually a lot of processing on the voice and everything else. So I'm super happy how everything in the end went through, because I even didn't know that two of us are capable to make something so effectively and interesting. Because when we were doing this jamming here in my studio, for me, it sounds beautiful, but in the end, it sounds very powerful, so I really love what we got in the end.
It sounds great. Like even in my studio, when I listened to the unmastered, I was like, this mix is perfect. Like nothing needs to be done. It was really good. I was blown away. So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. So you guys both have studios equipment. Is there anything you would love to get, like a dream guitar, a dream synthesizer? What's on your list? If money was no object.
I have, but I guess it's kind of, I guess kind of predictable. I would really want to get a Prophet synth.
Prophet?
Yeah.
Which one?
If money is no object. God, I don't know, but I'd love to get my hands on one of those. Yeah.
All the sequential stuff is great.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And so, I'm not used to thinking that money is no object.
Dream for a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, for me, I wanted to buy this Octatrack, so now I have it. And then I was thinking about Lyra because of the all experimental stuff that we can do it with it. But I don't know. Maybe I would like to have some old school stuff, some drum machines, 909, maybe some 303 or something like that. I think this is something that you can use all your life. It's like a timeless thing.
Totally. I just got the Behringer 303 clone, and I never really like cared about the 303, but when I used it, now I'm obsessed. Like,
Is it good?
It's as good as the other clones I've used, like Zoxbox, TT303, all the other ones. It's as good as they are.
Yeah.
But I use my friend's real 303, and I think it's a little bit better. But the Behringer 303 is €100. So
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, equipment doesn't need to be so expensive to be good. I think you should really know what you need to have in your sets, and you can do with little stuff. You can do so much, so many things.
Yeah, ideas matter the most at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, the obvious question: are you guys working on new material?
Yes. I got an album going out March the 8th. So basically that means I'll have 2 releases in a week, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So.
I would love to hear that, by the way.
Oh, you'll get a copy as soon as it's out. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be released digitally first because, of course, there was no way. A while. Yeah. There was no way we could schedule the vinyl to be on time. So as soon as the vinyl is out, you're going to get a copy. Yeah.
Oh, great! Thank you. Yeah. But send me the.
And I mean, you too, so just that goes without saying.
Yes, of course. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I know some of the tracks, right?
Yeah.
That you already released as a singles.
Yeah. So basically, the half of it remains unknown. So.
Amazing. Can't wait to hear the rest. Definitely.
I can't wait. I guess it's always like this. I don't know if you guys have this feeling. When you're doing new stuff and then you're finally waiting for it to be released, and then it's kind of like, I can't wait for it to be released so then I can get on with my life. Kind of like.
Yeah.
I always have this. You go.
Sorry.
No,
with this big stuff as albums, definitely is that kind of feeling. And actually, I had a feeling for this one also, like, okay, when we're going to release it, like,
yeah, exactly. It was like, the mix was done and like,
yeah. And in the end was the right time, when you think about it, I think it's really the right time. Everything is on hold. Everything is on hold. I also, for my label, I have for 1 year already planned master remixed my album. So 8 artists remixed some of the tracks from my album, and it's going to be double vinyl, and it's waiting in the line for the last year. I'm waiting to be the right time, and now I said, okay, it's enough. So I pushed it like a month ago. And now my distribution is like, okay, maybe we will need to have it like for 4 months or something like that, So like, oh my God. So I'm already late and I was waiting for so long.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I have some really, really great names for the remixes as Ben Sims, Amotic, Volster, Under Black Helmet. It's like a whole bunch of the artists, Sevdah, Flaminia, a lot of them. So I'm really, really can wait to have this out because it's going to be continuation of my first album that I actually released 2 years ago. And yes, this is what I have planned. I also released EP for Ben Sims' Symbolism. This is what went out recently, and I've done a few remixes, and yeah, more or less this is it. But yeah, as I told, I want to come back to studio much more now when I finish all this masterclass work and other stuff that I was doing in the meantime.
Sounds like you got a lot going on, so congrats on that.
Thank you. Yes.
The record is out March 5th.
Yay.
If you're watching this after March 5th, go buy it.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. And we'll catch you later.
Thank you for inviting us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us, and nice to see you, Sarah.
Yeah, nice to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to know who's coming up next on the podcast, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Don't forget to smash like here. Peace out.